Okay, boys, let's talk about the top of the Eastern Conference for a bit. And yes, Miami is in this video because I will always be terrified of them, and also they're right there at the fourth seed. Apologies to the Magic, who are tied with the Heat for the fourth seed right now, but I think you got to give Miami the edge. I'll talk about the Magic and some other teams at the very end. Anyway, let's start with the Bucks, who have quietly, not quietly, I don't know, had a great offense for a minute now. Obviously, Dame and Giannis are going to do their thing, but let's talk about Chris Middleton, who has had more minutes, more shot attempts, more pick and rolls. He's had some catch and shoots from the opposite wing when the Dame Giannis pick and roll happens, or if it's like the Dame Brook pick and roll. He's gotten his own pull-up shooting on off of Brook or Bobby Portis screening for him. Some of Giannis as well. They're running some empty corner actions with Giannis and Middleton, whether it's a DHO or a typical screen action. And he's just been back to doing the signature Middleton thing to me, which is he typically will get like a screen like from the middle of the floor, flash out to the three-point line, catch the ball, then they immediately flow into like, attack off the catch if the opportunity's there, or get the screen from the guy who set the screen at the free throw line to get on the ball. He's also like keeping his dribble low, coming around screens from Brook and then flipping it to Brook around like the free throw line for floaters, or, he'll hit Dame on the opposite wing if he's running a screen action as well. Like the Bucks offense to me is really coming together here. Now, whether people are satisfied with the amount of pick and rolls Dame and Giannis are running, I don't know, but there's other things happening here, so there's that. Now, as far as the defense, it has been trending upwards. I do know that they just lost to the Knicks on Christmas Day with Brunson going crazy, but they did beat the Knicks just 2 days earlier, except that one wasn't on Christmas. Their shot chart is beginning to resemble the Bud Bucks, right? Like, they're leading the league in opponent mid-range attempts per game. That's by design. Brook is all the way back and drop. They're giving up about the least amount of corner threes in the league. That's good. Their last 15 games, they're 11th in defense. Still wish the defensive rebound percentage was better. However, and I think those recent Knicks games, both of them can kind of show this, Brunson was able to comfortably get around screens, even if it was like Malik Beasley guarding him, or Andre Jackson, or Middleton for a little bit, or Dame for a little bit. The effort is good. It's just, he's got a lot of daylight around these screens because it's different than when it was Drew or Javon Carter fighting around these screens, right? We all get this. So even if Brook is doing his job, it's still there's daylight, right? However, in that first Knicks game, RJ Barrett really struggled against the drop defense, which that's another conversation, the consistency of RJ and where that stands for the Knicks, but that's another video. And so, yes, the perimeter defense is always going to be a bit of a conversation, and, I mean, if there's anything that's going to be their undoing when we get to, the playoffs, it could be that, or it could just be that the Celtics are that good, and we'll get to them in a second. But with that said, I think everything is trending upwards with this team, and I think the blueprint is there for them to be, they're a top 5 offense right now, so there you go. And then, I don't know, the 12th best defense, and then you just hope in the playoffs that you can just really ride the 4-man group of Giannis, Dame, Middleton, Brook, and then that 5th guy, whether it's Jackson, Beauchamp, Beasley, Connaughton, Crowder, if he can come back. Yeah, that's the Bucks. Now if we can go on to my beloved Boston Celtics, Derek White's the best player in the NBA. The Jalen Porzingis 2-man game is great, whether it's Porzingis setting a down screen for Jalen in the corner, whether it's just an empty corner like pick and roll, reject screen, DHO action, sometimes just something simple up top. It's just Porzingis pops or rolls, or Jalen drives, or, Porzingis might like fake a screen and then cut off of that, or, of course it opens up cutters for other guys. That's just the thing with Porzingis is spacing. Tatum screening for the guards screening for Tatum, that's great. Defensively, Porzingis dropping back, protecting the rim, or Drew guarding anybody, or Horford and Porzingis out there together, which doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, it gives you more versatility with like Porzingis potentially being able to be a help guy. Like, there's a million options. The team's very talented. They're great. And once again, Derek White, you talk about just the perfect guy to average 16 points a game on a title contender, between his aggressiveness on threes, or how he'll get downhill and like be physical on drives and make the right play out of pick and rolls and make the swing passes, and he's awesome on screen navigation, one-on-one defense, rim protection. It's like, it's crazy. There is one thing with this team. They, in the last 10 games, have shot the second least amount of shots in the rim in the league. If you want to go for the season overall, they're like 4th or 5th least in shot attempts at the rim per game. They're also like 20th in free throws per game on the year. If you want to go more recently, they're more of like a mid-tier free throws per game team. So we'll see. Look, in their last Laker game, you had a number of possessions where Porzingis would have like a seal in transition on Rui, and they would find him immediately in the paint, and he's going to like his 7-foot jumper or whatever it is. He had a switch on Cam Reddish in the Laker game where he immediately fights to get a seal right in front of the rim, and then I think Derek White clears out, and it's just like KP's got all the space in the room to operate. Drew entry pass, and then he had a 3-point play hook shot over Cam. So they're already showing those signs. If you want to go back a little bit to their recent Cleveland game, Jalen was pretty much living in the paint in that game. Some of it being screening for Derek White, and then attacking in a straight line dribble, or just kind of being ruthless going at Max Strus in one-on-ones. Or, the signature empty side action that he runs with Porzingis. Like, it's Porzingis DHO with Jalen, except they fake the DHO and then Jalen just cuts the other way, right? Like, so they can do these things, and their shot chart is always just going to be baked into the team. It's just a matter of, like, instead of being 20th in shots at the rim, can you be like 13th, I guess? And also, I think part of this too is like the Tatum sidestep three, which, there was a bit of conversation on Twitter about, and this is something that I've kind of alluded to, but I haven't been super loud about. But like, yeah, Tatum's sidestep three, step back three, it's considered a pull up three on NBA.com, whatever. We all know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's been slipping the past couple of years. Now, besides that, Tatum has been great with the aggressive drives and being in the post more. And I mean, I've already mentioned I love whenever he screens for the guards. I think it's just like one of the best things they can do, or the other way around. I do think the Celtics could use like a 3/4. The problem is that they just don't have a lot of money to move. I mean, they have picks to move, but when you start to put together the contract, there's just not a whole lot there. Also, just obviously Porzingis' health is huge. Horford, while he is still as solid as ever, and I appreciate the fact that he could still like give him real minutes and be solid defensively and everything. Like, okay, his age is what it is. We'll see. Now we can go to Philly. Philly is very good. Joel has been better this year than his MVP season. The two-man game with him and Maxey is more dynamic than the Harden one. I mean, the Harden and Embiid one was like pretty mechanical. It's pick and roll and let's go from there. Whereas with Maxey, it's like, fake DHOs and Maxey throw it to Embiid and then immediately run into a sprint to get the handoff and then we're going from there. Or it's Embiid just throws the ball behind him like on a bounce pass and because he knows Maxey's going to catch it in stride and then we're going to the next thing. Defensively, I think Joel's also been better than he has the past couple seasons as well. I mean, his rim protection stats suggest, once again, he's like among the best rim protectors in the league. Look, I actually want to talk about Tobias for a bit. I know Sixer fans are lukewarm on Tobias right now, I would say. And his last 3 games have actually been really good with his three-point rate being higher, which is probably the biggest thing for Tobias because it's like sometimes he just doesn't go into gunslinger mode, I guess, on like good threes pretty much. And I like when he's involved in the stuff, whether it's like Maxey sets him an off-ball screen at the top of the key to where he can cut when Embiid's got the ball like around the elbow or so, because Embiid's passing has been, much better this season, of course. But like I said, Philly fans are lukewarm on Tobias, even with these 3 recent games, and a lot of it is because like we have a history of Tobias being fine. He's a good player, but if you want him to be your third option on a team hoping to win a title, I don't know about that one, Now, look, there are pretty much no reports at all connecting them to Zach LaVine, so I'm just not really going to go there. I think they could use, and the reports have said they want a two-way guy. OG would definitely help them. It's just between what it would cost and the contract you have to give them on top of whatever the hell the Raptors want to do. We all know this, but just to say it again, like they've got expirings, they've got the picks from the James Harden trade, all that. I've said all this before with them. I mean, Dorian Finney-Smith would be a good pickup. Caruso, definitely. Now, if we want to talk about more of like a combo guard thing, which is another thing I've talked about, like, look, they got D'Anthony Melton and Beverly, and obviously Maxey's great, and Tobias can handle some ball handling. But if you wanted another guy for the sake of when defenses are really loading up and you're facing better defenses in the playoffs and all that, well, it is kind of tough to find that guy. Now, we are getting some DeJounte noise with reports right now, not like connected to any one particular team, but just, hey, by the way, this is a thing. I don't know whether to entertain it that much right now, but okay, we're monitoring that one, I guess. Anyway, now let's go to Miami. And I mean, the thing with the Heat is like they're good. They just haven't really had their main guys out there together that much. Like Bam and Jimmy have played, I think, like basically half the season together. In fact, the trio of Bam, Jimmy, and Hero have only appeared in 7 games together. Look, Duncan Robinson's doing more off the dribble and as a playmaker. I've already said Jaquez just in the last video. I mean, it's an amazing pick. Like the dude is creating his own shot, going at NBA defenders because he's built like a dude who's been in the league for like 6 years already. Bam is more aggressive going into like his mid-range and all that. Look, Miami's probably going to win somewhere between 49 and like 52 games or something. And I'm just going to be terrified. The Celtics could win 66 games. Miami could win 48. They meet in round 2, let's say. And I'm just going to be like, well, here we go again. I'm not going to have fun. Now, sure, like if a massive improvement at point guard presents itself. I mean, Lowry's been fine. He's not scoring a whole lot, but he's been fine. But like if that presents itself, okay, cool. Or just another point guard in general. If they could find an opportunity to like beef up the 4 spot a little bit, sure, go for it. In fact, they've already been linked to PJ Tucker, and yeah, I mean that was the best that Tucker looked in the last few years because they actually used him on offense. They used him in handoff actions. They used him in screens and stuff like that. He got up to like 3 assists a game. Okay, that's a lie. It was 2 assists a game, but still, he was cool there. Just a real quick thing with some other East teams. Look, like I said in the beginning, the Magic are tied with the Heat for the 4/5 seed right now. Their defense is great. Love Jalen Suggs. Already said nice things about Anthony Black in the draft video, just making solid play after solid play, swing pass or, kick out to whoever off of a play or rotate from the corner, all this good stuff. Paulo and Franz, how good they are this early on in their careers. If you're a Magic fan, you should be extremely happy with where things are going. but I would just put Miami above them. Cleveland, they've got a bunch of injuries. They just got to tread water for a while. There don't seem to be any actual reports about them wanting to make a major roster shakeup. I know people are just talking on the internet on if they would, so I don't know. The Knicks, first off, the Mitchell Robinson injury is just a gut punch and a half, man. With how good he was playing, how mobile he was looking on defense, being a monster on the boards. I feel like somebody cursed the Knicks to where when Julius is playing well, RJ can't be consistent, or it's the other way around. Like early in the season, it was, whoa, is RJ going to take over Julius's second option spot? And now it's flipped. Randall's been way better, and now RJ is very up and down. Would love to see more minutes for Emmanuel Quickley, potentially more lineups where Quickley and Brunson are out there together. And I get it, there's going to be a challenge because one's your sixth man, they're both guards, I get it. But you look at it, like Brunson has played with Quentin Grimes, DiVincenzo, RJ, way more than he's played with Quickley. Like we're talking like basically over 100 minutes with those guys compared to Quickley, so it feels like there could be a little more there. And, you might want to say, well, they're small and all that stuff. Look, Quickley's activity defensively is good, but also their net rating together has been very positive so far. So yeah, that's the top of the East for you.